Peacock, which is the exclusive home of The Office, by the way. Every single episode right here on Peacock. When we are done, whatever you want to do, you can check out The Office. All the episodes are for your viewing. And the man who plays Todd Packer for all those years in The Office, and our great friend back here on the Rich Eisen Show, and his new film, The Right One, available now in select theaters, on digital and demand, on Blu-ray and DVD. There's really no way that you can avoid checking out David Koechner in The Right One. How are you, David?
I'm great. How are you?
Better for talking to you.
Yes.
So I mean, this is what I say to friends whose team just suffered inglorious defeat in the championship. This is how I'll start. How are you? You know what I mean? Like, you just change the inflection a little bit. Like, how are you? And then I'll just leave the door open to see where you go from that, David.
Disappointed, obviously. Understanding, secondly, but even feeling, less hurt having won it last year. I mean, as everyone knows, it had been 50 years since our last win. And without that under your belt, this would have been completely crushing. It was so surprising, and I didn't know. I didn't investigate enough to figure out what had gone wrong early. And you can tell me, because you've got all the experts, it really had to do with the offensive line. And I'm not taking credit away from Tampa Bay, but clearly the team that played last Sunday was not the team that played all year.
Well, I don't think the team that played last Sunday is a team that I've seen on the field with Mahomes in all three of his years as a starter. I mean, it was so jarring to see so much go wrong. I mean, that was really off-putting, to say the least.
It was. There was like, what happened? What happened to our team? So I know, the whole offensive line got rearranged. One of the guys had not started all year, right?
Yeah, no. Look, you know who the expert is on this. You know who to call. You know who to call. You know who's the offensive line, Kansas City offensive line expert. Who's the one who got the entire offensive line to show up to Big Slick?
Stone Street.
Yes, but believe me, I reached out to him. I'm like, "What do you think?" And he was quietly confident, but he was also genuinely concerned. Because he knows that trying to put that line together, in 2 weeks is not going to be easy, let alone against the Bucs.
You can't do it. You can't do it. Clearly, we couldn't do it. I just thought we were sluggish. We were flat. Even the offense, even beyond the offensive line, everyone seemed flat. Mm-hmm. And you tell me, because you've got the years of experience, having an organizational mishap before such a big game, do you think that really affects the whole organization?
Look, I mean, and you're referring to again what happened with Andy Reid's son and Britt Reid, and I mean, it doesn't matter what your profession is, and no matter how focused you might be on the task at hand, your son has put a child in the hospital in an accident that involves alcohol, and you are allegedly, and Andy Reid is one of the best humans that you've ever met. He can't be all there. I mean, that's a fact. Nope. You know what I mean? So you put it all together.
I wonder what it does to the whole organization. You remember years ago, I forget what year it was, the first time Atlanta had ever been in a Super Bowl, and I forget the quarterback's name, had been out and got arrested for solicitation, right?
Yeah, you're talking about Eugene Robinson and Barrett Robbins. Those were a Falcon and a Raider, respectively, right before the Raiders against the Bucs in that first Buccaneers Super Bowl when Barrett Robbins went to Mexico the night before. He was the starting center. I mean, that's insane.
Oh, that's what it was. It was a center.
Yes, and then Eugene Robinson, he won the Man of the Year award and then got arrested the night before the Super Bowl as well. So,
and then
yes, David.
I thought, well, that game's over before it began.
It's entirely possible, but where did you watch the game? Where did you watch the Super Bowl?
At my house.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't travel. I was just at my house with my family, and anticipating a great game, and then right away it wasn't. And boy, that was tough. It's like, wait, we got three. Okay, we got three. I'm happy about it. And Steve Young said at the end of the game, he said, "If you're kicking field goals, you're losing."
Yeah. David, I totally agree with that, but I got to just call you out if you don't mind. I mean, we go way back, David. I just got to call you out.
Yes.
That's the wrong network to watch after a game, David. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay if you have choices. It's okay.
I was watching you all morning before the game until they cut the coverage to greatest Super Bowls. Then I went over to Channel 2.
Okay.
And then I will say,
right.
I didn't leave. I was too depressed to even. Oh, you know what? The NFL afterward, didn't they have just graphics?
No, that's okay, David. I wasn't on afterwards.
I went back and forth.
It's okay.
I did.
It's all right.
But it may have been later after the game. I think I just kind of walked away and left it on the channel and just walked around. And you know what? I know I got on the phone with several friends, and we were doing our own dissection of what happened.
No, David, it's okay. You were disoriented. You didn't think that the Chiefs would be held without a touchdown. I understand that it was out of body, and so you just made a wrong choice, and that's okay.
I did.
It's okay. But I just had to point that out.
What do we do? They in the ancient Greek.
Yes.
Here we go.
To sin means to miss the mark. And so it's an archer's term. It's an archer's term. It's a sin, you miss the mark. So guess what? Readjust. Try better next time.
That's it. Super Bowl 56 is just around the corner, David. You know what I mean? So you'll know. You'll know that there's,
You were wearing a blue pinstripe suit, a deep blue pinstripe.
Yes. You don't have to say that. If you just, I totally trust that you watched the pregame show. I totally trust. And that you do know that we did leave about 50 minutes before kickoff and did put on alternate programming on. You're a good friend. I just needed to I'm sorry. It was sort of a knee-jerk reaction right there.
You know what? And friends can get through those things because you don't hold a resentment. I'm not going to hold a resentment. Those are the things that kill a marriage. And as far as I'm concerned, you're the closest thing I have to a marriage.
David Koechner here on the Rich Eisen Show. And just to see that there's not a problem between the two of us, let's talk about your new project, David. Let's talk. What do you got? What do you tell me about the right one? Tell me about it.
The right one is the right movie for the week. We know that we're coming up on Valentine's Day this Sunday, and what better way to prepare than watching a romantic comedy starring Nick Thune and Cleopatra Coleman? If there ever was a great name for a leading lady, I think it's hard to best Cleopatra. She is lovely and talented, and her on-screen partner Nick Thune is funny and smart, and I guess handsome. I don't weigh in on those things. I don't have a problem with it. I really don't know.
You have to stay in your lane. I understand exactly.
Yeah, exactly. I assume if you're the lead, you're probably good looking.
Yes.
So, anyway, Nick's very funny. I've known him for years. He's a stand-up. I believe this is his first starring role, and I was doing. What was I doing? I was doing Bless This Mess, the television show, and he called and said, "Hey, listen, Ken Mock wrote and is directing this movie. He wants you in." And I said, "Well, I'm doing the show. I can't do it." And he said, "We can probably shoot you out over a weekend." I'm like, "Well, okay." So then I flew up, did all my stuff over the weekend, and then flew back to the television show. So who don't want to shoot a movie, right, Rich?
Of course, and you are also a good friend. There is an I in David, but you're a team player. You're here promoting it. You're promoting it. You're going the extra mile. You're taking
I'll carry water.
You're taking time out of your like you could have ducked me. Because no. Listen, you could have called into Steve Young's show if he had one and made that call. I should get past it. I'm sorry. No, but you're taking time here. You're taking time out of your Wednesday after. I'm sorry.
So it's a fun movie. Nick plays a bunch of different characters. I play a boss. Not breaking new ground here, folks. For Koechner, you're going to go, "Yep, that's what he does." And so, but it was fun, and like that. I get to do a press tour. I get to talk to you. We get to talk some cheese, so I'm very excited.
And again, not to correct you again, Nick Thune has had a starring role before, and it's because we put him on the mound in Safeco up in his beloved Seattle. He came on this show years ago, talked about how he would love to throw out a first pitch with the Mariners. He's knocked on their door. They haven't basically let him do it. We did it for him. He got up there. He showed up in like a full baseball uniform, stirrups and everything, and he fired a strike, sir. He had a Nick Thune had a big moment. Yes. Wow. That's a fact.
So he was a huge fan of baseball.
He is a diehard Seattle sports fan, out of his mind about it.
Wow, yes. wow. Okay, well, good for him. I'm glad he got to throw that pitch.
He did. So we know him. He's a good dude. You're right. He's a good dude.
He's very funny.
Excellent.
I like him. So I'm glad he got this opportunity for this pitch. And we'll see if he comes up with a strike or a home run this week.
David Koechner here on the Rich Eisen Show. A couple things here. Since we last spoke, we had the director of Batman and Tenet on for many of the Dark Knight. Christopher Nolan. I asked him what his remote drop movie was. And he had never heard the term remote drop before. And I had to explain to him, it's like no matter where you see the film on your television set, you have to drop the remote and watch it to the conclusion. Would you guess which? I asked him what his remote drop movie was, and he said Talladega Nights. Yes. It's okay. That is the appropriate reaction.
That is the appropriate reaction.
Yes. That's what he said.
That would not have been...
Yeah.
I assume since you were bringing it up to me that it was going to be a picture that I was in.
Yeah. You're not in Talladega Nights?
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
No, but when you were leading there, I was trying to think of what movie that I'm in that he might like.
Would that have been one of the last ones?
That would have been that would have been among the bottom. Well, I guess I don't know. I've been in quite a few, so at bottom 20.
Yeah, and he said it was Ricky, the Ballad of Ricky Bobby, Talladega Nights is what he said, and you could have knocked us over with a feather. And he even said that if you're not first, you're lost, like with his English accent, like he was James Bond. It was phenomenal.
My God, that's awesome.
You never know who you're gonna impress, David. Never ever know.
You know it's true. Years ago, I was up for, I guess, some online Nike ad, and I didn't even know it.
Right.
I know it was. So the director told me the story. They were considering 4 or 5 actors, and he wasn't quite sure who he wanted to go with. And he happened to be in the middle of, this is when there were DVDs, watching season 3 or 4, I forget what it was, of Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Yes.
And I pop on the screen as Joseph in one of the episodes, and he goes, "Oh my God, that guy!" And it's so interesting how things happen like that. That's how I got that job, because he had watched it before, saw it again, and go, "Oh my God, I like that guy. Yes, let's cast that guy." So who knows?
Look out, man! Move over, Michael Caine. Here comes David Koechner in the next Christopher Nolan movie. Here, you got it, Mike? Go ahead.
If you ain't first, you're last.
There it is. That's what he said.
That's awesome.
It's fantastic.
You never know what little thing nudges your opportunity one way or the other. Some people, I guess, it is networking. I'm not. And there's nothing wrong with it. It's just not in my nature to go and make sure I'm at all kinds of events where, you glad hand people. That's fine. Interesting that I was a poli-sci major, yet that doesn't seem to be in my blood. But, I guess my strategy is to be in so many things they're not going to miss me.
Well, now, we're on NBC Sports on Peacock. Peacock's the new exclusive home of The Office. What's your favorite office that you were in? David, what's your favorite one?
Gosh darn it. Sorry, I don't know if you heard that. That's my alarm going off to remind me that I'm doing your show 20 minutes ago.
No worries. Well done. Seriously, you got this thing. You got this thing wired, David. You got this thing wired.
It's hard to say. The first one was so much fun, and the first season was only 6 episodes, and they were having trouble casting that role. And I was up in Canada shooting snakes on a plane. Thank you very much. You're all welcome. And so I guess they shot a lot of that episode, and they knew they had to go back to it. And Carell said to Greg Daniels, "How about Koechner?" And so that's how I got the job. And so I went in there, and I didn't give it I gave it thought as an actor, but you don't think about and you consider the grace of things like that turn into something huge. A simple suggestion from a friend who says, they give you the job, and there's a certain freedom, Rich, when they give you a job, you go, it's mine, I'm going to play it how I want to play it. Rather than oftentimes if you're auditioning, it should be the same attitude, which is I'm going to play it how I want to play it. But you do spend a healthy amount of time thinking, I wonder what they're looking for. I hope I'm doing it how they want it, which doesn't serve you. But when they give it to you, it's yours. So you just get to go play. And so that was so much fun. And, the character's just an awful human. And the fun part of that is he says things that you could never say to another human being without getting punched in the face. So that's the delight and joy of that thing. So I hearken back to the first one being among my favorites.
The first one. So basically what you're saying is Champ Kind led to Todd Packer, is what you're saying in a way.
Well, see, I'd known Steve. In a way, yes.
Okay.
Because had I not done Anchorman, I probably wouldn't have had the Hollywood weight to just be offered the role.
Yes.
Although, I'd known Steve since 91, but then I might not have been on other person's radars had that film's success not been so prominent.
91. How did you meet him then? How did you guys come across?
It's in Second City in
Chicago.
Yeah.
It's amazing how many people just go back to Second City. Colbert too, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Was he there with you too?
They were in the same company, Colbert and Carell. And you remember they did those hilarious FedEx commercials for a couple runs.
Gosh.
And they kind of popped on those because they were so funny, and they've got such a great chemistry. And they had done several main stage shows at Second City, so they'd worked together for several years. And then I forget if they were both on the Daily Show at that time. I can't remember, but
wow. And then, of course,
that may have been pre-Daily Show, but anyway.
And then, of course, you've pulled on a very close relationship to appear in TikTok videos these days, too. Correct, David?
How old are your kids now?
12. They are 12,
okay.
Soon to be 10 and 7. And there are TikTok. There's a new TikTok account for my 2 dogs in my house.
Okay.
So that's what's going on.
So my daughter has pulled me in judiciously several times to participate in those with her. And it's interesting to me that she's not ravenous about it. They all love it, and there's a psychological. I think they've done some studies of why people love TikTok so much because it's just you're refreshing the whole thing. I think it's a constant stream of dopamine. But so every once in a while she goes, "Dad, we're going to do a TikTok. Okay, you ready?" And I love how we'll have to shoot them 3 or 4 times because my performance isn't good enough. But those are always a delight, and then she'll give me the updates of how many views they have, and how many likes, and how many comments, and all that stuff.
So is it dance moves? Is that what we've determined is most popular for you and your daughter's TikTok videos?
I don't know. I think I've done 3. I can't remember. I know one was a recreation of a scene from Clueless. Okay. One was some recreation of a dinner party from the Kardashians, and one was some trending dance moves and song. My moves are very limited, so that would be within the parameters of what I could do.
So basically, you're doing the TikTok because you get to do something with your daughter, and if you ain't first, you're last in that whole situation. Pretty much,
you're lost.
I love it, man. Hey,
I'm not. Then I will get contacted by other people wanting to do TikTok collaborations.
It's a slippery slope. No. It's a slippery slope.
No,
be careful, is what I'm saying.
No. Have you done some with your kids?
I have yet to do that, but I have yet to be asked. But I will serve if asked. I will do it.
But and luckily it's not a frequent thing. It's very infrequent.
Well, I look forward to it. I look forward to seeing more of it. I'll keep an eye out for it.
Isn't there an old person's one now? Is Clubhouse the old person's TikTok?
Very much not. No, you got to get on the old Clubhouse. Stone Street joined one that I did over the weekend out of the blue, which is the first one. The first one we ever did. We kind of like Thelma and Louise. We grabbed each other's hands and we floored it on the Clubhouse.
If you ain't first, you lost.
Thank you very much. Well done.
You lost.
Thank you.
Was he down in Tampa? now?
No, he was not. He was at home and just like sheltered down and getting ready for the big game. And I got as soon as it was 21-6, I got a one-word text from him. Welp. It said Welp, WELP. That was it. So
I know that myself and him and Riggle and Sudeikis and Rudd were on a group text together. And at one point he said, "Okay, let's focus on the game, guys."
I love that. He's just like he's that guy, man. It's the Super Bowl. I
don't blame him. Look, there was a 20-person dad text from one of my kids' schools trying to set up a squares board. I'm like, and they kept, saying, "You're in, Koechner." I'm like, I'm not in. I don't want to wish for a number. I'm watching the game. I'm focusing on the game. I don't want strips. I don't want pools. I don't want nothing. I'm rooting. That's it.
Thanks for the call. The Right One currently available in select theaters on digital and demand on Blu-ray and DVD. Thank you for the call. We always love chatting. And by the way, Chris Brockman, write it down for next year as a possibility for fantasy football. Constant stream of dopamine. I love that as a team name.
Nice.
I think I wrote that one down when you threw that one out, David. Thank you.
Well, I'll leave with this, and I hope it's not too soon to say,
yes,
I adore you.
Right back at you. Thank you for the call.
Okay, baby.
You're right.
Hey, buddy.
The one and only David Koechner. Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.